Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. We got over that hump. Many people say the 7th win is the hardest. I've always said that. Malks. You've heard of milk. Why don't you try our new synthetic malks? Made with real corn husks. 8 rate of fire. Damage could be better. I mean, you can run that math for yourself. You don't need me to tell you that. Now that we've gotten over that 7th win stretch, the 7th win itch, various other things, 7th heaven. Never really watched that show because I grew up in let me put it this way. I didn't grow up in a household where my parents were like, it's Friday night, gather around the TV and watch 7-Eleven. And by 7-Eleven, I mean 7 even back though Little Joe. But I have seen a few episodes of 7th Heaven. As I understand it, you know how like many TV shows when they run for long enough have what's known as a very special episode? Like you'll be watching Frasier and they'll be tonight on a very special episode of Frasier, and then like Niles almost overdoses on painkillers or something like that. As I understand it, 7th Heaven was a show where every episode was a very special episode. Hey, that's a little rude there, mister. There was no conceivable way for me to kill you in time. You'd be like, on this episode, the pastor gets into a car crash. On this episode, one of the girls said a swear word. On this episode, you know, every episode was a very special episode. It was just a non-stop series of minor crises in the 7th Heaven extended universe. I apologize, by the way, my throat is a little hoarse. I was wondering why, and then I was informed that my province is on fire right now, as it often is in the summertime. And, you know, I'm not complaining, because we're very, very far away from the fire. What happens is I'll buy it. The smoke from the fire wafts south, and everyone in Vancouver goes, oh, I hate the fire season. Meanwhile, you know, 100 or 200 kilometers north, things are on fire. So I'm just trying to have some perspective is all I'm trying to say. But it is, you know, it was talking to other people in the city yesterday. And obviously, yes, it was Corey. Corey was like, I don't know, I think I'm getting sick. My throat's so sore. And I was like, me too, dude. It's the fire. And he's like, all right, the fires. The classic fires of August. It's true. But it happens all the time. Well, actually, I do know why. First off, you know, a lot of timber. Northern BC basically is like the opening area to any RPG. It's very grassy, lots of trees. Free experience points, tutorials, etc., etc. And then also, like, there's a lot of camping. And we saw it firsthand last year. You know, last year had insane wildfires. And I call them wildfires. Maybe they started wild, but after that, I don't know. But they issued a campfire ban. So when Kate and I went camping last year, there were no campfires allowed, which basically means no campfires allowed until the camp staff go to sleep, and then everybody had a campfire, and we were like, oh, I get it now. You're not from here, so you're like, well, if there's another little fire, no skin off my butt. I'm not gonna let it ruin my vacation, right? No big deal. Anyway, it's just where we live. Grab this. I'm just trying to think. How we doing on this run? We're doing extremely well if we can get a card. HP's good. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Choo! That's the fire. That's a fire sneeze you wouldn't understand. Hey, this a little bit rude. Like, I don't mind. Little strife never hurt anybody, but simultaneously. Stop it. We haven't been to our item room yet. Let's grab this. Chaos at half price is a deal I will pretty much always take, but it's a deal that is not necessarily guaranteed to be great, especially what we should have done, you know, if we were Cobalt, if we were Biznap, if we were, you know, any better player of Isaac, or at least more patient player of Isaac. And I don't say that to besmirch the skills of the people that have been mentioned and the people that are implicit there. I would be a better player if I were more patient, but patience is a skill, you know, attention is a skill, and keeping that nagging voice in the back of your head that's like, go faster and talk about Len. Keeping that under wraps, or at least under control, is a skill in and of itself as well. It's not like, you know, people in the NBA are like, yeah, LeBron's good, but he's only good because of his dedication. I'm implicitly better at shooting the ball into a hoop from a distance. He just outworked me. You know, that's more shameful. Without a doubt. Oh, okay. I don't know anything about basketball, by the way. The extra HP is nice. The extra speed is still relevant. I would say until you get to like 1.5, roughly, you're still happy to have more speed. We got a lot of consumables, but we're a little bit understated from a damage standpoint. If we can knock that out, I'll be feeling good. Like, Small Rock would be incredible. Bomb and a Key, Bomb and a Spirit Heart is also really good. And there's no Spirit Heart here. And there's no Spirit Heart here. Okay. So I wouldn't necessarily get your hopes up too high about this deal with the devil. A deal with the devil with chaos is like, everything is a deal with the devil except the deal with the devil, which is an item room. A very, very expensive item room. Like these, just give me deals with the angel instead. Dark Prince's Crown, as you know, is useless. And I am an idiot who chose not to get more coffee before starting this set. What is wrong with you? You know what it is? My routine's all in a tizzy. Today is a landmark day for me. I thank you for your well wishes and congratulations. After this video, I'm going to get my oil changed. I can't wait, dude. I don't know if anybody else is at this stage of life. If you work from home, I think you'll relate to this, okay? I'm not excited to get my oil change. I would rather stay at home. But I'm kind of excited to be forced to leave this house. Because, hey, there's a great sandwich place near the oil change location. So I have a perfect excuse to go out and be like, hey, I got my oil changed, by the way. Here's 2 sandwiches for us. And it's not a Subway, in case you're trying to keep me honest there. It's what, like, working from home is the same thing, like, I am embarrassed to admit it, but sometimes, like, yesterday we had doctor's appointments. Try to, like, basically we're getting a blood test done to see if there's... What was that sound? Did you hear that? It's the huge wall spider. We're getting a blood test done to see if there's, you know, latent viri in our body that could at least indicate what the heck we were infected by earlier this month and last month. And I was kind of excited to go to the doctor's office because I was like, we're driving in midday in Vancouver. The view's gonna be beautiful. Who knows? We might even stop off for a little ceviche. We didn't because it took forever. By the way, we're about to have a Windows sound here momentarily. Prepare yourself. Like, any excuse to get out of the house is nice. I'm worried that, well, not really, because I know who I am right now, but I can see why. You know, you ever... It's a sad story, okay? Don't take this as, like, ageism necessarily, even though I think it might literally be. But you ever in public and you're, like, behind a person at a store, and they just keep talking to the clerk over and over, and you're like, hey, dude, that's really cool that you went fly fishing in Wyoming 8 years ago, but simultaneously, I really need to just drop off this form, and the bounds of human politeness dictate I can't just butt in front of you and be like, hey, here's my form. I gotta wait for you to be like, and my daughter's at McGill right now, and blah, 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 you know? Hey, I'm not actually that worried about losing a deal with the devil. Because our deals with the devil are not necessarily good. But I can see why, you know, if you're in your house all the time, you no longer have an outlet to speak to people on the regular. You know, human beings, I didn't even see that. Why are there so many enemies of varying sizes on this run? You know, you lose that level of human contact, and it's got to get out somehow. It's like a human need. Incredible. So we could get wait what? But blank card is 100,000 times better. Anyway, I keep interrupting myself. It's very rude of me. I'm just saying, I get it. It's still annoying. I don't want to be insanely rude, but, you know, you're still like, hey, come on, Gramps. Like, the people... Oh, thank God. The people behind you got other things to do. And maybe you do as well. Like, I don't know, you could volunteer at some place that allows you to talk to young people and guide their lives. I don't know. It probably exists, right? You don't have to just do it at the Home Depot. Amazing. Sharp plug. So I'm going to go back to the curse room just because at this point, like, I got to find something. Also had, like, when we were at the doctor's office yesterday, I saw something I have never seen at a Canadian doctor's office before, and it's not outrageous, but simultaneously, I was like, oh, you're not from around here. This guy after us checked in, and he's like, hey, my name's Bob, not from around here, and I got an appointment for 1:45. And she was like, okay, take a seat. And he said, are we running on schedule today? Because I got kind of a tight agenda. And I said, oh, buddy. You haven't lived here very long, have you? The doctor's office for routine stuff is a roll of the dice, man. You could be here for 2 minutes. You could be here for an hour. You don't get to say, are we running on schedule? When you have a doctor's appointment, and this probably works the same way in many parts of the world. The doctor's appointment is a half day off of work sort of situation. It's not on my lunch break, I'm going to get this done. You know, you could be sitting there for 5 minutes, you could be sitting there for 45 minutes. All depends on many things, you know? Maybe there's a kid that's screaming and it's a baby, so you don't know why it's screaming in the other room, you know? It takes a little while to diagnose. Maybe you got people coming in that are just like, my tummy hurts, and the doctor's like, well, have you eaten anything? And they're like, no. And you're like, well, you're hungry. Go eat a snack or something. Go get a sandwich. Take 2 and call me in the morning, you know? I'm sure as a doctor, you got easy days and hard days. You know what annoys me at the doctor's office? And I want to point out, this is not meant to... I don't think that I know the physician's industry better than the physicians. But there's some things about being a layperson that are frustrating when you're in the doctor's office. And here's one of them. When you go in, you check in, you say, I'm here for the blank appointment. You know, 1:30, 1:45, etc., etc. And they say, okay, have a seat. I get that. Then they make a page. They're like, oh, your patient for 1:45 is here. Then you sit in the waiting room for an indeterminate period of time. Let me suggest that it could be 1 minute up to maybe half an hour. I think is a fairly reasonable, realistic time frame without being absurd. At the end of that, the person you checked in with says, Mr. Letourneau, right this way, please. You're in examination room 4. And I go, thank you very much. We're still, the bounds of politeness still exist. We have not shaved off that veneer yet. This is where the annoyance, this is where the annoyance comes in. You sit in the examination room. You've been called in. They say they're ready for you. In the examination room, you sit there for another 5 to 30 minutes. That's what I don't get. I understand. Doctor's got many patients. Nothing wrong with that, obviously. I'm glad... I don't want to say I'm glad business is booming, but you know what I mean? Like, I understand there's people that want to see the doctor. And I'm not saying, I want to be first. I know there's sick people, but I want to go. You know, it's not like that. It's more like, just from like a customer satisfaction standpoint, I don't understand when they make the call that you go from the waiting room to a private waiting room. And it happens at every level of medicine. At the hospital, well, if they have space anyway, at the hospital, they go like, hey, okay, what's your, what ails you today? By the way, did you see that? Didn't even have to lampshade it at this point. And you go, my brain exploded. And they go, okay, come take a seat in this room with like a bunch of other people. And then in 25 minutes, we'll call you to take a seat in a private room where you'll sit for 15 minutes until the doctor comes in and says what seems to ail you. I definitely want that trinket, by the way. Please let me go to the item room. I just don't understand. Oh, okay. I don't understand what happens in the interim period between sitting down in the examination room and being seen. Is it like there's only one person ahead of you? The doctor's examining them right now, so we're gonna put you in the room so you're ready when the doctor's ready. That seems. I'm not suggesting there's not a good reason. By the way, I'm sure there's probably a good reason. You know, they've been running the industry for hundreds of years. I'm just saying, I kind of wish that the first time you went to the doctor's office, they were like, here's how it works. You're going to wait here, we're going to call your name, you're going to go into another room, you're going to wait some more. The reason is, you know, that's when the doctor's looking at your file, and they're going to be like, okay, is there anything in particular I should ask them about with respect to this situation, and then you move on. You know, then I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it, thank you for keeping me abreast of the situation. Instead, it's some kind of like eldritch art. Not a complaint, really. Just a minor little thing. So we've really slowed down on this run. No question about it. HP could be better. Wow. I'm disappointed. Because I really wanted Sacrificial Dagger. Sacrificial Altar, I should say. It's not bad. I really hope we beat the odds and get a deal with the Angel. It would be a stretch. By the way, I love this curse. You gotta... Here's the thing. Isaac, it's a zany game. It's got all sorts of cool stuff. Curses that make it so you have no idea where you're going. Sometimes you hit Q instead of hitting spacebar and you waste the card that you've waited for so long. You know what? You've done this to me, by the way, game. You did this. I want you to know that. I'm also going to grab this so we get Bookworm. Even though it's a little reckless. And we're going to go back for all the battery charges. If you don't want to see this, I'm very sorry to tell you, it wasn't me who did this. This was the game. The game had every opportunity to give me the tools to win an entertaining run. And instead it said, make him feel bad for taking Chaos. So you know what? You got me. I feel bad for taking Chaos. But I'm going to do it anyway next time. And now I'm going to take all the defensive items in the game, kill everything with my orbitals until our damage pops up. So, congratulations. You did that. Part of, you know, playing this game for this long is recognizing when the game doesn't want you to win. And I think right now I'm of the opinion the game was being, if I'm being honest, pretty rude to me. So I'm going to move on here. All I'm doing, dude, is thinking about that sandwich. It's a ciabatta bread, mortadella, a little salami, summer sausage, ham, olive oil, basil, and handful of broken glass chips. I was just trying to think of what would be the most humorous, inedible thing to add to the end of a sandwich. A crisp $100 bill. A copy of the Declaration of Independence. I hate... It's one of my culinary pet peeves. Oh, dude, thank you. Okay, I guess when you... Never mind, I'm an idiot. The reason that we got the tiers downgrade for getting the Halo is because we had Dark Prince's crown. So I think it's still worth it to grab it. We can get our fire rate back in the future, but Halo is probably... I mean, it's not that good, but it solves a little bit of... It alleviates problems at any area of your attributes, obviously, except for tiers in this case. But anyway, that's like... what I was gonna say is it's like my #1 culinary pet peeve. And there's always, I have a friend on Facebook who I haven't seen in 100 years. And I'm not even sure if we're friends anymore, because based on his Facebook posts, I kind of hate him. But we have that, like in my soul, I'm like, we were friends, genuinely friends. You know, I had his back, he had my back. But then, like, in the intervening 9 years or so since I've 8 years since I've graduated university, something went horribly wrong in his life, and now he's very hateful. And that friend is me. But, no, but he always posts these things that are like, and by the way, if you're watching this, call me up. Let's have a conversation. I don't want to throw you under the bus. I'm just using you as anecdote fuel. I would love to catch up next time you're in the Pacific area. And by catch up, I mean, say that we should catch up, and then when you're in the area, I'll be like, oh, I didn't see your message, and then we'll be like, no big deal. I'll be back in 6 or 7 years. And I'm like, cool, we should catch up. That's what adult hangouts are like for the most part. But, he always posts these things that are like, you won't, it's a video that's like 30 seconds long on Facebook. It's like, you won't believe a new restaurant has opened up in Paris that, I'm imitating the typography, serves a $15,000 cheesecake. And it's always like, you know, it's like propaganda. Like, well, what is a cheesecake? $15,000. Oh, well, we use only the finest farmstead eggs, and then also on top of that, the flour is hand milled, and then on top of that, we put $14,900 of gold in each cake. You know, like, you gotta stop giving these restaurants attention for this. Now, I will say, a fool and his money are soon parted. If you go to these restaurants, and I'm sure they're, you know, a very, very, very small percentage of people watching this would ever do this, even if you have the means. But if you go to these restaurants and you buy the $15,000 cheesecake or the $999 bagel that comes with like gold flakes on it, you deserve to have your money taken. The sad story is that you probably have more of it. If you saved up $1,000, there's a very famous, well, at least it was famous for like a week in internet parlance, deli in New York that's like, we serve a $999 bagel. What is it? The bagel is hand milled, and you know, you get the idea. And then there's $948 of gold on it. So it's all the same thing every time. If you saved up $1,000 working 2 jobs to eat this bagel and just be like, that's sorry, I'm dying. That's $1,000. Don't do that. First off, I feel bad for you, but simultaneously is like, if you can't protect yourself with that level of consumer awareness that that is not a product that you should do that with, I don't know what to tell you. It's like, buyer beware, caveat emptor is such an important statement. They knew about it back in Latin times. You should, if you're destitute, you should not save up $1,000 for any meal, much less a breakfast. My personal opinion, at least. But if you buy that sort of stuff, the restaurant owner deserves it, because they've bilked you. Because basically what you're doing is you're buying a product that's like, hey, buy this product to be rich. If you're rich, buy this. And you're like, oh, I don't know, that sounds nice. I love the taste of edible gold that has no discernible flavor whatsoever. You gotta stop making videos of stuff like that as if it's like high-class cuisine, okay? Just to put gemstones on a plate does not make for a meal that's worth $25,000. You know, like, you ever hear Goldschlager? It's a cinnamon liqueur with little flakes of gold in it. I have to feel like if you are the Goldschlager Corporation, at least in Canada, it's priced at the same level as any other, like, baseline level hard liquor. You know, it's like $30 for a 750 milliliter bottle. Now, they're probably like, we're fools. Price that at $100 a bottle, like Grey Goose. Dude, these items, you're killing me. And then market it as, like, the luxurious choice. It's got real flakes of gold in it. It's classy. It's not classy. My college roommates threw up drinking too much of it. It's all marketing buzz, dude. I almost feel bad, like, talking about it, because it is so obvious. Like, it's not, it's a circle jerk. It's like preaching to the choir, right? There's nobody watching this video that's gonna be like, oh, I love the $23,000 sundae from the top of the Burj Dubai that has a real diamond in each one. Yeah, I know that there's no chance. So it's like, it's a victimless, it's too safe, I guess is what I'm saying. But still, I keep seeing the videos. Not even searching them out, they just appear in my feed because you won't believe this Manhattan Ice Creamery serves a $135,000 ice cream. Oh yeah, it comes with 7 bitcoins shoved into the ice cream cone. It's always the same thing. It's like 50 bucks worth of food, and then, you know, we went to the gem store. Don't buy these. This is foolish. Obviously, you know this, but there are things like you get what you pay for sure, but buying, I don't know, dude. I almost feel like maybe, first off, I'm sure it's all marketing. That it's more like, you know, you see the video and it's like, hey, this New York pizzeria has a $26,000 pizza, and, you know, it's got 6 lobster tails and truffle butter, but then also $20,000 worth of $100 bills underneath it. It's more like you never actually have to make it. You probably have to call in advance, like a week, if you want it made, because they have to buy all the ingredients. Oh, they don't just have it around ready to go. You don't just walk in off the street and be like, hey, give me the $26,000 pizza. You know, that's tone deaf. Probably what it is instead is it's marketing. That you'll watch the video, and then in the final, you know, 3 seconds, they go, they also make another variety of pizza called pepperoni. That's only $13. And you go, okay, I gotta check out that place. And then when you're in New York, you go there, you take a photo of the menu, and then you tell your friends, yeah, I went to that place that serves a $26,000 pizza. I had the pepperoni. It was pretty good. It's marketing, I assume, but still, I'm just saying. The only food that I feel good paying like 5 times more what it's worth to consume it is cold pressed juice. And this is gonna ruffle some people's feathers, because, you know, cold press, how much do you expect to pay for a carton of orange juice? $4, $5? It's not like, it's not cheap to begin with compared to other liquids. Like, you know what, I will grab it. If you were to grab 2 liters of soda, for example, what do you expect to pay for that? I would say like $2 is probably realistic. And I don't want to get into the banal minutia of $2. Well, if I walk down to the Wawa, I can get it for $1.70. You know what I mean? Like, roughly in that range. Maybe $2 or $3. But orange juice, like just a Tropicana or something like that. I'm thinking that's like a $4.50, $5 kind of range. In Canada, at least, we don't get a lot of oranges up here. The climate's not that suited, so instead, you know, they got to be picked in Florida and then flown on a big airplane. Either way, hey, careful. 1.5 liters, 2 liters of cold pressed orange juice probably is gonna be like $15, and I'm not messing with you. And the first time, I will never buy it for myself. 100%, I will never buy this juice for myself, because it's insane. It's so much better than regular orange juice, which is also still fine, even though I normally don't like it. But, you know, regular orange juice has like an acidity to it. You know, you drink too much regular orange juice, like your tongue starts to get a little scratchy. You know what I'm talking about. Don't give me that, well, my tongue never gets scratchy. Drink 1 liter of orange juice in a day, which is probably too much. Tell me your tongue doesn't get scratchy. I'm just saying there's some acidity. But my wife loves the cold pressed orange juice. So I buy it. Had a glass. It's got like a natural fruit sweetness, real like depth of orange flavor instead of just that top note of like orange citric acid, you know? I will never buy it for myself just because it's ridiculous. You could buy like, I don't know, you go see a movie for the price of 2 liters of juice, but I will say that when I buy it for her, I try to sneak in a glass every now and then, and I go, oh my god, that's good. The best way I can think of to describe the price of cold-pressed orange juice is that it costs what regular orange juice costs at an all-day breakfast place. You ever go out, you're like, I'll take the all-day breakfast, you know, 2 eggs, 2 pieces of toast, hash browns, and your choice of breakfast meat. Oh, that'll be $6.50. Oh, I'll put a glass of orange juice on that as well. Oh, that'll be 450 American dollars then. I don't know why, like to open the carton of orange juice and pour it out into the tiny glass is so expensive, but you know what I think it is I think I didn't mean to do that, but it doesn't matter. The orange juice industry has done a great job of, when I say brainwashing, don't take it the wrong way, okay? But they've done a great job of brainwashing the populace into thinking that it's not breakfast unless you have orange juice. Now, I'll admit, I like a good juice for breakfast. I'm more of a cranberry juice sort of guy, but I don't drink juice for breakfast. I drink coffee, which is also fine. I used to drink orange juice for breakfast every single day in high school until I read that juice is basically just fruit soda. So I said, well, I guess I'll drink water for breakfast. And I started drinking water for breakfast, and I'm going to tell you something. It's totally fine. I know if you've been drinking juice your whole life, you're probably like, water for breakfast? That's not breakfast flavor. Dude, it will be. After you do it for like a week, you'll be craving that water for breakfast. And like, not just water, but I mean water as your beverage of choice for breakfast, the same way you're craving the juice right now. So I think, like, you know, the Tropicanas of the world have done an amazing job of telling people that, oh, you know, you can't start your day without the 3,000% of your recommended daily allowance of vitamin C that comes from a glass of Tropicana orange juice. And you know who's really winning are the IHOPs and the Denny's and the Morrison's Diners of the world, who now have you by the balls. Because you're like, you know, the all-day breakfast is priced as a lost leader. Then you come in there, you have a glass of orange juice, you got to get a mortgage on your house. You got to stick it to them. I don't really win in this situation because then, you know, I've never had this conversation with my wife, but she orders juice at the all-you-can-eat or all-day breakfast place. I'm not going to be like, well, let me tell you my opinion on juice. I'm more like, yeah, she'll have a glass of juice. It's weird to me because, like, coffee is so cheap. There are expensive coffee places, but for the most part, coffee is not a... I mean, I guess coffee maybe is a loss leader, too. The same place that'll charge you $3.50 for a glass of orange juice straight from the carton will be like, it's $1.50 for a mug of coffee. When you get the mug of coffee, we bring you a carafe of cream and milk, a specially designed tote that has sugar and sweetener and multiple kinds of sweetener in case you're like, I don't like Splenda, I want sorbitol, you know? Like, it's like a VIP experience. You order a glass of orange juice, they're like, sorry, there was only half a glass left in the carton, but we're gonna charge you the same. Oh, come on, Denny's. Don't do me like that. I'm just saying, if you're gonna overpay for juice, make it a cold press. It'll change your life. Thank you for a good item. This run, by the way, has not been horrible, but it has also not really been good. I think we made highly the correct decision taking Satanic Bible, and it killed me inside a little bit to push down my inner child and say, not this time. Not this time the adult has to play Isaac. But, you know, in the end, Chaos ended up rewarding us. It just took almost the entire run to make it happen. So I'm not salty about it. It looks like we're going to come out of this with a win. Very few complaints, except the pace of the run started pretty bad. But apart from that, we're moving on. Hey, mister. I got another entry in the food truck saga as well, because Kate and I are, tomorrow's my day off. We've got things to do. There's a fireworks thing in Vancouver. We're going to go to that. Before we go to that, there's like a street festival. There's going to be food trucks there. And we looked. There's going to be the same food truck that we were unable to get food from at the new Westminster Food Truck Festival. Now, I could go my entire life without ever standing in line for food out of a freaking truck anymore. And I know it's sacrilegious to say that. You live in a hipster city on the West Coast. To have a negative-ish opinion about food trucks, it's blasphemy. But simultaneously, I think they offer very few benefits over a restaurant. Certainly one of them is not price. Mobility, sure, but that doesn't really matter to me. It's not like you're going to drive alongside me while I go for a jog or something like that and then give me a hot dog at the end of it. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, how could we not stand in line to get the chicken karage we were unable to get last week? It's like a sequel, a real-life sequel to a story left unfinished. I'll keep you posted. You know, today's my big recording day, so it might be like 15 Isaac episodes until you hear the conclusion. But just, you know, just know, it's on the radar. We may just wake up 45 minutes late and completely miss it. And you know what? If we do, that's our prerogative. It's a Saturday. Okay. We are going to win. Relatively easy chest, mostly because we had the existence of Sacred Heart. Just doing as much damage with our orbital as possible to reinforce the fact that this run never really truly popped off. Excuse me? Okay, I said excuse me because in my head we got screwed, but we definitely just got hit by a bullet. That was not a sneaky bullet. For now, though, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps us a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.